Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving deep into a high-stakes conflict that's shaking up the world of professional sports. And, it all started with a simple yet incredibly powerful message on a t-shirt. This isn't just about money. It's about the entire future of a league that's right at a tipping point. Okay, let's set the scene for this. It's the 2025 WNBA All-Star Game in Indianapolis. The players, they're feeling like contract negotiations have just gone completely nowhere, that they've been wasted. So they decide to make a very, very public and unified statement. And this was it. This was the message on every single player's warm-up shirt, a coordinated protest you just couldn't ignore. And boy, was it effective. The crowd, all 16,000 of them, actually started chanting, "Pay them," right in the middle of the MVP ceremony. The players had definitely made their point. Well, that protest immediately kicked up a firestorm online. You had critics and fans all pointing to one seemingly undeniable fact: the WNBA has always lost money. So this question became the absolute heart of the debate, pitting what the players were demanding against the league's well-known and kind of painful financial reality. So let's really dig into the numbers that had so many people scratching their heads about the players' demands. This is the financial backdrop for this entire fight. 28 years. Think about that. For its entire history, the WNBA has never, not once, turned a profit. It's been kept afloat by the NBA, which provides millions of dollars every year just to keep the lights on. And get this number shows you just how big the problem is. Even in 2024, a year everyone was calling its most successful ever with record-breaking viewership, the league still lost a staggering $40 million. It just spent way more than it brought in. And this really gets to the core of what the players are demanding. Look, they aren't asking for the same massive salaries as NBA stars. They're asking for the same percentage of the money that comes in. They want to go from getting just over 9% of the revenue to something way closer to the NBA's 50-50 split between players and owners. It's about getting the same slice of the pie. So you have to be asking, right? If the league has always been losing money, why on earth are the players picking now to demand a huge raise? Well, the answer really comes down to two words: Caitlyn Clark. Her arrival in 2024 completely rewrote the league's financial playbook. I mean, the scale of the Clark effect is just wild. Her games didn't just give the league a little boost in viewership. They pulled in more than 4 times the audience of all the other games in 2024. She was quite literally a one-woman game changer. And this one player drove this just unprecedented wave of success. Attendance for her games shot up by 182%. Her jersey became the second bestseller in all of basketball, men's or women's, and pretty much all her games were on national TV. The league's value was just transformed. So you would think the league and its players would be rolling out the red carpet for their new superstar, right? Protect the golden goose. Well, what actually happened on the court told a very, very different and much more complicated story. On the court, Clark faced this pattern of physicality that a lot of people felt repeatedly crossed the line. You had a hip check from Kennedy Carter, a hard shove from Marina Mabrey, an eye poke in the playoffs. All these incidents fueled this huge controversy over how the league's biggest star was being treated. And here you can see the pay gap that fuels so much of this frustration. It's just impossible to ignore. Clark's NBA counterpart, Victor Wembanyama, signed a contract worth over 160 times more than hers. So while she's driving millions in new value, her official salary is less than $80,000 a year. It's just staggering. And you had big-time commentators like Charles Barkley arguing that the league was just completely fumbling a historic opportunity. He claimed a culture of petty jealousness was overshadowing all this incredible new momentum and really alienating its biggest asset. Okay, so we've got a money-losing league, we've got frustrated players, and we have a superstar driving all this crazy growth. This is where the story takes a really sharp turn, because this protest, it isn't just about the money the league has in the bank right now. This is the key. You have to understand this is the true strategy behind the protest.
That slogan, "Pay us what you owe us," it's not really about the past, it's about the future. The players know there is a massive change coming to the league's finances, and they are getting in position now to get their piece of a much, much bigger pot.
And here it is. This is the number that changes absolutely everything. Starting in 2026, the league's annual media rights deal is set to explode from about $60 million a year to at least $200 million, thanks to new deals with giants like Disney, NBC, and Amazon. This is a game-changing influx of cash.
Let's just put this into perspective. That jump of $140 million or more per year, it could theoretically wipe out the league's $40 million annual loss and create a $100 million profit overnight. Suddenly, that whole argument about what the league can afford to pay, it just changes completely.
So all of this is building to a critical deadline. With all this new money on the horizon, the stakes for both the players and the owners have never, ever been higher.
The players have already opted out of their current contract. That's the CBA, the collective bargaining agreement that sets all the rules. And this sets a hard deadline of October 31st, 2025 to get a new deal done. They're demanding transformational change, with some top players even saying they're prepared for a lockout, which now seems like a very real possibility.
And a work stoppage would be catastrophic. It could mess up plans for new teams, throw 80% of the players into free agency limbo, and just completely kill the incredible momentum from 2024. And maybe even worse, it could push stars toward new rival leagues that are popping up, ready to lure them away.
So this is the ultimate question, isn't it? The league is sitting on a golden ticket. They have a superstar player and a media deal that can finally make the whole thing profitable. But this internal civil war over how to split those future profits could cause the entire enterprise to fumble its greatest opportunity. What happens next is going to define the future of women's professional basketball.